Duke Dennis of AMP is getting some type of backlash because the AMP's cosmetic brand Tone is on Target shelves. And for some reason, it's fuck Target. There's a myriad of reasons that it could be fuck Target. So I believe that. But basically, this is what he says.
I've been seeing a lot of people mad at us that we got Tone and Target, bro. And it's like, everybody that's saying that, bro, is they hypocrites, bro. They being hypocrites. They are lying. All right? Like, if they had a product and Target wanted them to put it in Target, they would do that because it's what's best for business. Like the same way our goal, like shout out to Target for putting Tone in Target, but that's not where it stopped. Tone, we want Tone at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, gas stations. You feel me? All around the world, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's, bro. If you actually, no cap, if you actually are an entrepreneur and you own a business, and if you didn't, that would be bad for business. You stupid motherfucker. What the fuck? Like, bro, no cap. They are lying though. That's the crazy part. Like the same people who got something to say, you telling me that if you had your product and Target was like, hey, can we please put your product in our store? You would say, no. Shut the fuck up. What I'm talking about.
Okay. So, and there's another clip that basically where Duke said that he voted for Trump, which I think is part of the.
Well, no, he said he didn't. Let me.
Yeah, because I the way he phrased the sentence, I'm like, oh, I think we just missed a T, but he meant to say didn't, but he said did.
I want to play the clip that sparked this specific clip that sparked this conversation from content creator CJ the Alchemist. It's ready to bring up whenever you're ready.
Scarier than a white man is a black man that's trying to imitate whiteness through capitalism, because there's nothing that he won't do in order to reach his goal of whiteness. I think this Target situation with AMP convinced me that almost all of them voted for Trump. What first convinced me was when Duke Dennis went on Quinn Blackwell's cooking show, and she asked him who he voted for, and he said, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it. And that right there told me, because it's like, if you voted for Kamala, you would say you voted for Kamala. But like the overnight stream at a Target is crazy, especially knowing that black folks and people of color are boycotting Target because they threw out their DEI. It's really tone deaf and irresponsible. Now, obviously, I don't know these dudes personally. This is just speculation on my part, but there's a lot of context clues that show that they do support capitalism. And to my knowledge, none of these dudes talk about politics online, especially like Duke, because he confirmed it. And I might be wrong. Maybe they do talk about it. But at the same time, bro, you're taking a Target deal. Nobody messing with Target right now.
Okay. You want to play another one? Or yeah.
As a companion clip, I think it leads into that conversation because it's about black people and their responsibility as creators. But I don't know what people are boycotting Target. They got rid of their DEI.
Yes.
AMP has their brand go into Target. Now people are finally realizing that AMP are capitalists, that creators are capitalists. The people who, make millions of dollars on a monthly basis by making content are capitalists. Is this not unfair? Do you think this is unfair criticism, or do you think that people are just doing their criticism? I guess is where we can start.
I think there's a few. So for context, you used to be like in AMP or associated with that kind of thing,
working for them.
For them.
That
but never content.
Don't let that.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I was just trying to get context for like you might have extra knowledge.
Oh, about their politics, maybe, but I don't. This is still. It's going to end up being a general because his next one leads into a general conversation about the responsibility of black celebrities, essentially. But
okay, and yeah, you let me know the extent to which you want to talk about that shit. Like that's
not.
Yeah,
there's no hold bar right now.
Okay. So I would say, I think that it's a fair I think it's a fair-ish conversation to have. I don't want to put it. I also think that as a person who is trying to do business and trying to make money and trying to survive or whatever, and let me not even say survive, because AMP is doing quite well as a brand. So it's not surviving at this point, but I would say it's fine to want to make money off of the things that you're making, and they're making products. I think also we misuse that term capitalism. I'm still learning a lot of what goes into some of these definitions, but one thing that I've immediately realized is that people are using the word wrong in a lot of these convos, and they're using capitalism to just refer to any free market activity or to corporatism, which also can be criticized, but is a separate and distinct thing, or just anything or consumerism or materialism, but these are all separate concepts. But I think that if you're going, hey, we're boycotting Target for these reasons, and Target is one of the best places for black makers who are handcrafting shit. They're actual workers who are making products. They're making, bath products or cosmetics or whatever. And I don't know what the creation model is for AMP's cosmetic brand. That matters because it could be more or less capitalist. But a lot of black business owners said something to the effect of, if you want to progress DEI initiatives, go into Target and buy our products. Boycotting Target doesn't help us. Now, I understand you might be saying, okay, well, what we're trying to do is pressure Target to bring back in those initiatives. And we understand that some black product, business owners are going to be hurt in the process. I think that's also a valid stance, depending on what the particulars are. So, yeah, I think it's a fair criticism, but I also think it's fair to go, yeah, we're a black business. We're trying to make money. So we're selling where we can sell. If Target was doing something farther along that line, then I think it starts to become less acceptable. But I don't think Duke's stance here seems crazy to me. As for the voting for Trump thing, I think he could have not said it because he didn't vote. That seems like more likely to me than that seems like a very likely stance. Just from I don't know them people at all, but a non-political black male streamer of a certain age, I think it's just a high likelihood motherfucker didn't vote. I don't know. You might be able to tell me.
I would agree with the same sentiment. 2 out of the 4 of them are like immigrants, so they wouldn't even be allowed. Or 2 out of the 6 of them, I should say, not 2 out of the 4. 2 out of the 6. They
don't have. They're still on green cards or PR or whatever.
They're not like voters, by law. So that is the Tabitha Brown argument. The conversation of, hey, we are black businesses within Target. Yes. They are just acting as distributors or whatever. But by not supporting my spices or my hair care, or I just saw her clip about her book, you are hurting a black business. And
Yes.
And if the argument is you got to crack a few eggs in order to, make a breakfast or whatever the phrase is,
omelet, but
that is okay, I guess. I think that sometimes, and from the sounds of this guy, and other of the TikTok intellectuals, it's a lot of aimless grandstanding where I see that this is getting traction or likes over here, and I see that this is getting traction or likes over here. So let me go ahead and let me set up shop and make my take, make my video, make my claim, because this is where everybody is right now. Because there's things that you could have been criticized about them if you truly had criticisms about them and their involvement in the community and stuff like that.
About AMP and
about AMP, brand, or any black influencers who don't stand up for the different political things that you.
But I don't know, because to some extent I'm like, because I think that people who are making things do have a responsibility. Now, I think because everybody has a responsibility, and the more power and influence you have, the more responsibility you have. So going back to my point, I don't think that what Duke didn't said is necessarily crazy, though I think that his response seemed a bit half-baked to me. I think if you go, yeah, you're a black business owner doing something and that we think is politically bad, you're being criticized for that, I think that's totally fair. And to be like, oh, why didn't you criticize sooner? That kind of falls on deaf ears for me, because it's like, yeah, you criticize when the point comes up. You're going, hey, here's an opportunity for you to take political action through your platform, and you didn't. So now we're going to criticize it.
I think the point has always existed. The point has always existed, though.
Oh, what do you mean?
I can say this through different people dying in the streets, cops doing X, Y, and Z. Other political movements. They live in Atlanta, so the Cop City thing that happened a couple years ago is a prime example of an opportunity for them to speak up but not speak up. Kai has sat down with Eric Adams and didn't speak up about anything at that point in time. There's different opportunities. I think it's very interesting, the ones that people do take in order to slander this person. If you listen, if you come out and say, if this person come out and say, I just don't like Kai Cenat from top to bottom because his politics don't align, this, hey, that sounds perfectly fine. I think that for a lot of these people, though, the trend is I can get a thumbnail title off that says AMP, DEI, Target, Tone. I'm gonna do that because there's a good.
Yeah, I think that's fair, though. I think that's kind of like side. Okay, I agree that that's probably some percentage of it, but it seems like we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater and being like, all criticism is that, as evidenced by this. And I'm kind of like, Right. So that's the part that I'm disagreeing with. So if we're going to have the conversation about what we're actually having the conversation about, which is, does it make sense to criticize creators, producers, businesses, actors, celebrities for the things that they do or don't do politically? I'd say people do say that Kai Cenat should do more shit. They did talk about whether or not he's going to have Kamala on the stream. Those were questions. And I think that those are very fair questions, because Kai Cenat I don't think that he's like a journalist in terms of what he creates. I don't watch his work that much, but he does have cultural cachet, and that matters and has always mattered. Trump did the whole podcast circuit of a bunch of people who were just comedians and shit. So this idea that, like, because there are people who are clout chasing, there must be no possible valid criticism of a streamer for not doing some shit when they could have. That's bullshit to me.
Well, that leads me to the second part, because I did want to separate them into two, and I don't even have to play his video, because that this is a forever conversation about, like, the role or importance of the black celebrity or entertainer or personality in today's society or whatever, in forever society. What role do they have in politics? What role do they have in speaking out against the disenfranchised? What roles do they have? They're two separates to me. My thing at my new age of 28 is that I'm definitely not looking for these people to do it. Like, I'm not, because I just don't see the value in Kai Cenat speaking to Kamala Harris. I may see the, like, super surface level, but knowing what I know about Kai Cenat and how he creates content, do I want to see him bust down Rolly Avalanche with Kamala Harris, or play the game, or react to the Mr. Beast video with Kamala Harris? Is that what I want to see?
Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you mean when you say you want to see?
Me as the person who is consuming the content and then also criticizing this figure for how political they are, how non-political are, where they stand.
Okay, let me say that, because you're like I said, you're more connected to this space than I am. So I'm deferring, but I'll just put this on the table and then you kind of do with it what you like. But I would say the point of, for instance, Kai Cenat or fucking Taylor Swift, whoever making a political stance, is to bring either awareness or consideration to their fan base that has an intersection with that particular political cause. So you specifically not wanting to see Kamala do shit that with Kai is not relevant. The point would be, do you think that Kai having Kamala on would introduce her to a particular group that you would like to see introduced to her, and bring ideas to that particular group that you would like to see brought to them so that they can consider them, in the same way that Schultz brought Trump to a whole group of millions of people, and Joe Rogan did, and Theo Vaughn did, that had a political impact? That's the question. Not do you particularly want to watch the content?
And I think they're all, like, aligned with each other, because I think even the question that you asked is two parts. Okay. Introduce concepts to that audience. Do I think that Kai bringing Kamala on will introduce the audience to different concepts? I think no. And I don't think it's like this overwhelming no. Like, I can't 100% say, like, everybody will not get anything from that. And the answer is no. I can't say that for sure. Somebody's going to take it, see Kamala Harris, and say, let me Google her, and then be introduced to her in her life, which somebody wants to make that I guess that's fine. Do I think that this is how the youth should be introduced to politics? Because that's what the majority of what Trump was supposedly doing is, hey, I want to reach out to that demographic of voters between, like, 18 and 24, whatever these numbers are.
Yeah.
And how this is how they should be introduced is by being introduced through the content creator that they are already having a parasocial relationship with, a la Aiden Ross or Joe Rogan or whatever. I think that's a bad way to go about things, that has negative consequences for our society. It's why people blindly follow politicians and this is my perfect world. So like I understand that
Yeah.
it has some, but this is my perfect world that I'm speaking from. I would rather people come to find out about politics through politics as opposed to, and I could play something here. There was that
Yeah,
subway
go for it.
train, that subway train dude.
Oh
Um,
yeah, the takes, and he said Kamala came on and her take was trash, and so
and
they
her
didn't
take was
post it.
trash. Did you hear what the trash take was though?
Yeah, bacon as a seasoning.
And so I'm like, you have Kamala Harris here and I get it. She brought that take. Did you ask her about anything of substance?
That's not what that thing is though.
That's not what Kai Cenat is either.
I agree, but my argument is that's okay.
Ah,
Your argument is that it's not.
nah. I can't get. I'm done with the pretending, especially where we are in like society today.
Pretending what? Hold on. I feel like you wound down an argument that you hadn't made yet. Like, what?
I'm done.
Okay.
No. Well,
I'm done. What happened? Yeah.
Because I'm I don't like the introduction if Trump goes on this run again for the next time or right before his presidency ends this term, where somebody gives him softball ass questions. Aiden Ross, are you gonna free Young Thug? Dog, there is what is that thing called?
Okay, but
Alligator
hold
idol.
on. Because I feel like this is because I agree that those are dumb. I agree that what Schultz did with Trump was not dumb, insidious, because it's campaigning. It's going. We're not going to ask you real questions, and we're going to get our fan base to vote for you by hiding the worst elements of your campaign and highlighting the most inconsequential but perhaps appealing things of your campaign. But that's what the fuck campaigning is. So it seems like you're going, let's take the moral high ground and lose, which that doesn't make any sense to me.
Darn. I want people to take more high ground, even if it means it. I know it sounds crazy. Because I want it to exist on both sides. And that's the this is my
okay. Now we doing.
I know.
You want to
Hey,
write a letter to the North Pole? I see. Okay, yeah, cool.
Look, brother.
Have you been a good boy this year? Just so we can see whether or not you might get what you want. You know,
it depends. I understand this is the conundrum that I am in when I do this. And I mean, maybe this is why people are like, you should be critical of Duke Dennis. I'm just like, man, if you just don't go Google the shit, if you're truly interested, I get it. It's always a conundrum. Everything is a conundrum in all these scenarios. Because in the same, and I'm backtracking just a little bit, in the same example of, hey, y'all shouldn't have been in Target. Target employs mad black people, especially at the factories where they quote unquote make tone. I don't know where it is, but they might employ mad black people, and this also is helping this still black business employ other black people through. So like you pick and choose. I just think that,
but then you have to, and this maybe is the point that you're making. If you're picking and choosing, you have to intimate that. Not you have to intimate that, but there's value in intimating that to us. And that I can agree with. But if I don't like this thing where we do, let's create a hypothetical where actually the person who seems to have done a bad thing has secretly done a good thing that they just didn't tell us. It's like, look, if you're going, hey, we made a decision that wasn't just about money. We looked at what the DEI policies were, and we said, hey, we don't think that that's a useful way for us to make a difference. A good way for us to make a difference is to put our product in Target, get it to a whole bunch of fucking people, employ the people in our business, along with all the other black products that are on Target shelves. Y'all's boycott is ineffective and a waste of our time. We're not going to do it.
what percentage?
Yeah.
Every time a celebrity does something like this, how often do you think that they're truly tapped into what's going on?
What do you mean? Like, meaning like, does Duke Dennis even know about the DEI boycott?
Until it's brought to his attention that like,
I mean,
what he's doing is bad.
I think there's a good chance a lot of the time that you just don't know. Yeah. I think that's like, because I didn't know about the shit until I heard about this. And so like if I was partnering with Target, I mean, I think you might do it as part of due diligence, but I could see a person being like, we got a Target deal. We can get this distributed all across the country. Cool, let's do it. Fuck it. Like that. And I don't, maybe this is hypocritical of what I've been saying so far. I don't judge that harshly.
Yeah. I think that's truly the more likely of the response. to say that like hey, they know Target. They don't necessarily know about DEI. They don't know about boycotts, because even the way that people use DEI, like you're saying about the capitalism and all these other definitions, it's being bastardized. It's being butchered. So I'm pretty sure they heard the words Target and was like, oh shit. Like you said, we can get this distributed nationwide. That's a household name. This is something cool to say for my mom. My mom and her sister and church friends and all this stuff, they shop at Target. When they go into Target, they're gonna take pictures because her son is right there.
I think that'd be a fair argument if, and this is why I say that his response seemed half baked. But I mean, look, that was like a clip from like part of a stream, and it wasn't in direct response to that thing. It was a more general response to general pushback. But it just leaves so much unanswered for me, because he didn't say any of the shit that you're saying. Like, he didn't say, hey, we didn't know. He said, yeah, we now know because y'all have criticized us, and fuck that. If we could go back in time, we do it twice. That's a completely different argument than what you're saying.
That's fair too.
So if you're going to say, hey, look, we know about the DEI thing, we know about these issues, we know about your concerns. At the end of the day, we're running a business. To me, that actually does sound much more in line with the framing that the other gentleman said, which is that AMP, Duke, Dennis, them niggas just don't give a fuck. Like, even if there were more of a cause, they actually just wouldn't care because the goal is business. And that's more in line with the old dude's argument. Like, I think that there are good reasons for them to say, fuck it, we're going to put Tone in Target anyway. I just don't think that they expressed any of those in anything that I've seen. Maybe you know something else.
No. And I'm not even necessarily even inherently making the argument. I'm not making the argument that they're saying this. I'm more so making that a point of the people who criticize, have they done that level of thought process or analysis or whatever. So in that, because you're absolutely right. My response to even that was, capitalists support capitalism. I'm shocked. Like, that's kind of where.
Oh, well, then hold on. If your point is, because that just sounds like you agree with the guy, because the guy's just saying, hey, Duke Dennis, AMP, they're pieces of shit. They're trying to align with whiteness. They don't give a fuck about black people. They just want to be.
I think that those are jumps. I think those are jumps and criticisms that, like, while there is a very valid argument to say that, like, aligning yourself with capitalism is aligning yourself with whiteness. I get it. This, what I'm saying about the intellectual space, and I know I'm all over the place, but the intellectual space, yeah, make a video every single day about everybody, including yourself too, because that's what we all kind of align with capitalism. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of us.
What do we mean by this phrase? That goes back to my other point. I feel like we're not focusing on what the fuck we're talking about here. Like,
we're not. We're all over the place.
Yeah, but I feel like we're all over the fucking place. Can I try and just, so when you said you weren't surprised, because I think that really sparked some interest in my mind. When you said you weren't surprised, do you think that he is saying Duke Dennis, AMP are interested in building wealth to the exclusion of all other moral things, and that's bad? And you're going, yes, I agree with that. Or something else.
I think let me say this. I think when people make these videos, and I'm not trying to bring it too far off, when people make these videos, they have a celebrity that they believe is here.
Yep.
And they believe that the celebrity, because they are here and because they look like me, aligns with my thought process and thinking. Okay. They cannot separate the fact that this is a celebrity.
I sorry to cut you, but that just doesn't seem like what this guy was. And because I don't know this guy, he didn't seem like a Duke Dennis fan. He seemed like a Duke Dennis from the jump criticizer.
Oh, you didn't get it? I got what I'm telling you. What I got from it was, dang, this is a black celebrity. I'm surprised that this black celebrity, because he is black, isn't aligning with my beliefs and ideologies as a black person.
Okay, yeah, that's not what I got from that. But I see. Yeah, because he started it off by saying there's a certain kind of black person who blah, 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 blah. So he's like, he already had the category in mind. He was like, I'm not surprised. I'm letting y'all know is how I read it.
He said, and that's what he mentioned, the Quinn Blackwell interview. He had some sneaky suspicion that they were Trump supporters. But I think the overwhelming assumption for a majority of people is that, hey, black people don't vote Republican. Black people don't vote for Donald Trump, especially. Now, when stuff comes out, I'm starting to get sneaky suspicions, and this is my evidence, and I'm building this case. And this is his, I cracked the case. You actually are a supporter of Trump. You actually are a supporter of capitalism. And I'm surprised that you don't align with my beliefs because you are supposed to be black like me.
Okay, can we let's maybe skip past some of the Duke Dennis and like, scooper, fucking call out culture element, and just, do you think, because we have a product, like we have a card series, like 2 different card series, and I was saying before, I would love, like, I feel like it would be so great for us to do, like cosmetic shit. Like you and I, like off air, have spoken about like hair care products is a thing that we could definitely do as a brand that I think would align with like the people that listen to us. And I'm just thinking about, scented candles and deodorants and perfumes and, body oils and all that kind of shit, I think are all things that would appeal to people. And we can make some interesting shit. What do you think is, if you were us, what are the limitations on how that should be done? Because I think that doing business responsibly makes sense. Meaning, cool, it's all right to try and make money. Everybody's trying to make money. The most progressive motherfucker on YouTube that's got 500,000 subscribers, they're getting a check from YouTube every day. I don't think anybody is saying that you can't make money. Now, I think that that's a fake, made up criticism. After having had some discussions with like even just the people that listen to us and that kind of shit. So, but I do think it's fair to say like not all money is good money. Like it's some things that you don't want to make money doing, or some ways that you don't want to make money doing it. So if we make, if Target wants to sell in all seriousness, do we say no? That maybe is the question that I'm asking.
I think every answer is unique, and it should come from a unique place. My cop out answer.
I feel like it was a very specific question, though.
Yeah, I know. That's what.
Yeah. Who did you vote for, Omar?
I should go to politics, but no.
Yeah.
The only reason why is because, I mean, as we've had this conversation, this extended conversation, it's like, well, if I do this analysis of what their DEI initiatives were before versus their competitors, and come to this analysis of like, damn, really, there is no real righteous home for me that fits properly and all this.
Yes.
However, Walmart is the biggest black employer in the nation behind, I don't know, whoever else. It makes more sense for me to put it here so I can at least have a place for these black people to have a job and try to get people to go in to buy my product, and Walmart's in the hoods and da-da-da-da. You can make it make sense. And you always got to do what's best for you and you and your business and stuff like that.
No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. I think that's key to the whole conversation, is that you don't have to do what's best for your business all the time. There are multiple things, and you could do a slightly and maybe I'm nitpicking a thing. So stop me if I'm nitpicking what you just said. But to me, if you're going, we have a triple bottom line that includes not just profit for our company, but the social enterprise element of like, what are we doing? So it's not just to maximize the total amount of money we could make. It's going, yeah, this would make us more money if we did this. This would help with climate change, or help, put fewer people in prison, or help with food insecurity, blah, 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 whatever. And companies, there are so many companies that do that. So no, you don't.
I think that's part of their business. Okay. Especially because they're being forward with it. Like Ben and Jerry's, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben and Jerry's took themselves out of Target based off of what we know about Ben and Jerry's and how informed they are about different things or whatever the case may be. And they push progressive causes, et cetera, et cetera. Ultimately, that would be good for their business because they've made a stance. No different than back during the pandemic. It was like some ice cream truck that had like Biden popsicles or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, they were based out of like Brooklyn or something like that. And we know like you selling Biden popsicles exclusively in Brooklyn is ultimately good for your business, your bottom line, and the fact that you're getting some like social equity or social clout by doing this specific thing this way. So that's what I mean by do whatever's good for your business. If you know that these people are actively supporting, what do they call it? Alligator Alcatraz. And you are a, like that one Mexican food truck that was going into Alligator Alcatraz.
Wait, so what? Okay, so because I've only seen bits and pieces, so I don't fully. And this could be a quick aside, but what is Alligator Alcatraz, and was the Mexican food truck against it,
I think
or for it.
alligator. If I'm not mistaken, it's called alligator Alcatraz. Alligator something, but I think it's called alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, that's I've heard that phrase.
The camps that they are the ICE
Okay,
ICE
it's an
detainee,
immigration concentration camp.
yeah, ICE detainee camps that they are bringing these people to, immigration concentration camps. And so there was a video of some food trucks going in there to feed the people, and one of them
Okay.
was a Mexican food truck, and people were like, "Oh, how could you do this X, Y, and Z?"
Oh,
The company claimed, they were like, "Oh, we just got a call to go to a place. We did not know it was the alligator."
oh, and they're feeding the staff.
I think they're feeding either the staff or the people.
Because I feel like if you're feeding the people, that feels good. Like maybe I got it turned around backwards.
No, I think they probably were feeding the staff. The assumption is that they were feeding the staff.
Okay.
So that's the concept. So you'll probably lose some like social clout there. It was good for your business that one time, because now you'll probably get some like federal contracts.
See, this is the corporatist thing. I'm and I apologize if we're talking past each other, but I'm saying as a business, there because DEI was always that. It was always this fake triple bottom line that was ultimately about building social equity for a business in order to improve shareholder output. It was always ultimately about the money. And I'm saying sometimes you're going, it is okay for us as a business to say we don't do this, or we do this, even though it doesn't help us perform better, take more market share, make more money. It's just about doing what we as a business have decided is part of our mission statement, which is helping to feed hungry kids, or helping to, reduce climate change, or helping to make sure that AI doesn't have, negative impacts on Black employability, whatever the fuck your triple bottom line happens to include, even if it doesn't particularly gain you social clout or money or anything.
I hear what you're saying. What I see though is a company making a post saying, "Oh, well, we're not supporting this because X, Y, and Z," which in turn does help their bottom line, because
it does. Yeah.
Then flood the market and say, "Oh, I'm taking all of my all the sodas that I have in here, I'm throwing them away, and I'm buying Eddy soda because Eddy's anti-AI."
Yeah, no, I agree that is the impact, but we're talking about what's right. That's where fucking sorry. I feel like we're getting further and further off from the convo. Do you think yes, a person should do? Yeah, I'm saying that a business should do what that business thinks is right, not what is good for the business. That's what I'm saying. So, do you agree with that, or do you think differently than that? Do you think that the business should just
We're ultimately saying the same thing. It's just dressed up a little bit differently. I think, because what's right is still going to be quote unquote right for the business, especially if the way that they go about it. That's what I'm saying. Ben and Jerry's I don't think Ben and Jerry's does it too much, but Eddy's soda shop will make a statement saying that they are anti-alligator Alcatraz.
And we're not sending any sodas in.
We're not sending any sodas in, which is morally right. It's still going to help their bottom line.
Yeah, but that's a secondary,
That's a secondary. Benefit. It could be. They could also do, and if they did the opposite way, it will work too. So I do what's right. You're right. Do what's right. We'll leave it at do what's right.
Yeah. So because I will say, before we move on to the next topic, I will say I'm totally with you on the idea of, is there even an alternative? So if Tone or In All Seriousness or Eddy's hair bonnets are like, where can we even sell if not Target? Because I'm like, yeah, cool. The boycott is great, but the buy-in is also really, really effective. And you kind of have to have a pairing for both of those. Like when we talk about the most famous boycott, probably I think in American culture, is the boycotting of the bus system in the South. If you go, cool, in order to do that, we had to figure out alternatives. And so we made a whole network of people to do all of that. And that meant money and help to that group. And we said, we're not going to do this. We'll do a slightly, maybe more hodgepodge kind of system, but ultimately we're going to still get to our jobs and get to where we need to go. We're not going to use your bus system anymore though. And so if I'm like, yeah, cool, I want to put a cologne out into the world, Target is one of the best, places to distribute it. Target is kind of shit, but who's better? Fuck it, we'll put it in Target because it's still the dollars are still going to our company. Or we go, here's another place. Like tell me where to put it then. If not Target, tell me who to make the deal with instead.
Yeah, but people will say that like you're wrong for asking, because these people shouldn't have the resources. These people should just be able to criticize. He should be able to say his criticism without being asked to provide the solution. But if we think
Yeah,
about
I
it,
think that I think I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
which I think I'm with you on that. I would disagree. Yeah.
yeah, and that's to me that's a part of the grandstanding conversation. Because point out the ones who are doing right by the community that is, because we're not boycotting Walmart, but that doesn't mean Walmart is doing the right things at the time. And then also factor in who can distribute. This is cosmetics at this point, so now we're already limiting the scope. And this is one that's male leaning, so it's not like we can just throw it into Sephora, right? We have to take into consideration who's actually pumping out male cosmetics, and it becomes more convoluted. Where you probably ultimately, if you're in the war room, end up saying, "Fuck it, Target is literally the best option."
And I could see, and I could 100% see that being the there isn't a thing that we can do that is going to have a reasonable positive impact here. So we're going to do the thing that can help, which is make some money, make a little bit of cash.
And do an offset somewhere, set up a boys' school. I don't know. Make a donation.
I like that. I think that's reasonable. Like, cool. We're taking this Target money and we're putting this, and we're making our own DEI program from it. Here's a scholarship for every bottle of for every In All Seriousness pack that we sell, we put however many cents towards sending somebody to school. Cool, done. Like, that seems pretty reasonable to me. Everybody who's watching this as a small clip on YouTube, if you want to be able to watch the full 2-hour-long episode that this video comes from, all you got to do is be a member of the community. You can do that on Patreon, by joining on Patreon, by joining on YouTube, by clicking that little join button. You become a community member and you immediately get access to our Discord, where you can talk to a community of like-minded, sane individuals who listen to our content, and you get full bonus episodes every single week, the full 2-hour thing. And you can play back the live streams every week, and you get discounts on merch. It's crazy not to do it. What are you doing with your life? Grab that. Join, click, Patreon, YouTube. That's it.
It's a red flag.